It's your boy, let me see what you smoking. Portland Live, Miami, Florida. You already know how we do. New season, new players. Got one of Florida's biggest cultivators that been making rounds in the East Coast, in New York City. That's how I first met him. And I heard about him, you know, with his, he had the bag juice, he had the fever tree. Really love the fever tree and I like the bag juice, but this is OGCM. OGCM Farms. My brother, thank you so much for being part of the show. It's an honor to have you here, my brother. Talk to us where the OGCM fell in love with cannabis, bro. When did that happen? How did that happen?
I actually didn't fall in love with weed until I started growing it. You know, weed was always just something to do, you know. But when I started growing it is when I started to be like, yo, I really, because it became therapeutic for me, you know. So that's when I really started to fall in love with it.
When you started cultivating?
When?
Yes. What age?
Shit. For real, I started cultivating about 8 years now. I tried to play around with some shit like in like 2005 or 6 or something like that. Me and my cousin we did some weird shit where we got a bunch of 5-gallon buckets and we put it in a circle and we had an HPS light that we hung in the middle, and we got some seeds from one of them seed sites that send you seeds from Europe and shit. They came in the CD sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Damn, in the CD sleeve?
Yeah. They sent you a CD and the seeds was in the sleeve. But that ain't work well. We did that like one time. I was like, man, fuck that. Go back to doing what we know how to do, you know. But yeah, that's my first time trying to grow.
Trying to grow it, and then you just little by little you started getting better at it.
Nah, man, I gave it up completely after that. You know, I mean, like, I come from a different background, man. Being from Miami, you know, it's weird because I'm Jamaican, people automatically assume that I've always sold weed. But, you know, being from Miami, I sold other shit. Weed was just like, you know, it was like whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that you really focused on too much, you know. Like when I was growing up, the weed man wasn't even considered like a dope boy, like how now they try to call themselves trappers or whatever like that. You was a weed man, you know, like you were supposed to bring everybody a good time and stuff like that, you know. So
yeah, so weed was just like whatever at one point.
Yeah, it was like whatever, you know. Down here you could find, you know, better coke than you could better weed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's like, you know, weed was like not even a thought.
Yeah, and of course, coke money was where the money's at. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
And weed is like.
But you know, I had a cousin, man, who me and him, we sat down and had a conversation one day, and he used to sell like hundreds of pounds of weed. It's about back when it was zone. Remember that the Arizona, we called it zone down here, or that yard weed, that Jamaican brown chocolate tie or whatever. And I'd be like, yo, cuz, why you ain't, I mean, he had bread, he was making money, but I was like, why you doing all that weed? He said, cuz, because I get caught with 100 pounds and I ain't gonna do no time. You get caught with a quarter key, you doing 20 years.
That's a fact.
You know, and that put a little thing in my head. You know, this was back in like, I don't know, 07 or something like that. I put a little thought in my head, but I mean, I brushed that off. You know, whatever. We're just out here, man, you know? So, like I said, weed for me was later on in life.
In life,
Yeah.
So, the focus here, we're reviewing the Z from OGCM. And I'm a big lover of the seed. You know what I mean? As far as the flavor, and it's a unique cultivar itself. What was the process in growing the original? This is the original Z, correct?
Yeah.
So what was the the process. And this is terp hogs, correct? Terp hogs.
Well, I didn't get that cut from Terp Hogs, but they had it Terp Basel 2023.
Okay.
And you know, they certified it. They loved it. That's that lime Z. You know, that like the green lit Skittle.
But it still
Z,
has a nose.
you know.
It has a heavy nose.
Yeah. But a lot of the Z you see around has kind of like a orangey, like reddish Skittle kind of terp. But I mean, you're smoking it right now. You can say that's that lime Z kind of terp, and that, apparently that's like the when they first dropped Z back in 2015 or whatever. That's the original terp right there. So I didn't get the cut from Terp Hogs, but they was in love with it.
Yeah, I was in love with it.
Oh yeah, I had posted it online and stuff like that. Yeah. They certified it for real.
And it smokes
Especially
clean.
down here in Florida and stuff. They would think they would find that.
Yeah, it smokes very smooth, bro. Like this is what you look, but it has the Z flavor, but it also has like that earthy, also combined with the citrusy. You know what I mean, with the fruity. So it's like a good rendition of Z. And what I like about it is very soothing in the inhale. That's what I'm looking for. Soothingness in the inhale and exhale, and of course the flavor is sticking, like like lingering. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you smoke cannabis yourself?
No,
And why is that?
I have CHS,
What is CHS for those people that don't know?
Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome. So I smoked so much for so long that just like anything else, as you get older, you can develop an allergy to. I developed an allergy to THC. Yeah, so it took them like 3 years to diagnose me. They took my gallbladder in the process, all type of stuff. It was a nurse from Colorado that had transferred down here that when she was one of the nurses on one of my rounds, one of the times I was in the hospital, she started asking me questions. And of course, being in Colorado, where weed was like legal and stuff like that, they have more experience with it. Where as of down here, people were going to the hospital during that time, and they wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, I was smoking weed" or this, that. You know what I'm saying? Because it still was. I think we just passed medical at the time, and we weren't even having smokable flower at the time. It was just like edibles and stuff. So of course, people weren't going in the hospital and saying, "Oh yeah, I was smoking weed" and this, that, and the other. But she started asking me questions, and the main question she asked me that made her say, "I think you're allergic to the weed," is she asked what was the only thing that would make it feel better. And I tell her, so I go take a hot shower. And she's like, "Yeah, I think you have something called CHS." And she went to the doctors, and of course, talking to the doctors, they went and did their research in the medical journals or whatever write-ups they could find about it, and they came and they told me and said, "Hey, you might have the CHS." And I was growing at the time, so it's not like I was like buying shit off the street and
smoking your own shit.
Exactly, part of the reason why I was smoking so much, but so I knew it wasn't something like that. So I was like, when they came and told me about it, I was like, that's bullshit, because you smoke weed to stop vomiting and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
that shit feels like somebody shot you in your stomach. You're throwing up. You can't keep nothing down. You're dry heaving, stuff like that. It's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's the worst feeling.
That's bad, bro.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Like, you go to the hospital, like they give you morphine, but the morphine don't do nothing. They got to give you Dilaudid.
So you don't,
That's
at
the
least
only
you
thing
don't, at least contact don't fuck with it.
No, I mean, and I could smoke. It's not that I can't smoke. I can smoke. It's just you have to do it in moderation.
Super moderate.
And the type of person I am, once I start smoking, I'm not gonna stop. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna push the envelope. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't do it. Yeah, so that fucked me up bad. So what happened? So they came and they're like, yo, try not smoking for a while. So I was like, all right, whatever. Then I took my gallbladder already. I'm still going through the shit. I'm like, fuck it. Let me see what if I stop smoking, what's gonna happen. So What would normally happen is that I would go to the hospital. I'd come home and the first thing I'd do is I'd smoke me joint. And back then I was rolling straight grabbers. You know, like niggas be making spliffs and putting grabber in they white boys. No, I was rolling the leaf.
But that's
I was
based on
smoking
your
the leaf.
culture, B.
Well, yeah,
That's a Caribbean
Jamaican
thing. Yeah.
But I'd come home and I'd spark up, and I'd smoke and I'd be smoking, 10 to 14 joints. I was rolling 1.2s at the time. I smoked 10 to 14 joints a day.
A day.
And this would be the routine, and I do that for about 3 weeks straight. And that last week, boom, it hit me, and I have to go to the hospital. So I came home, I didn't smoke. I went that whole first month, I didn't smoke, and I didn't go to the hospital. I went halfway through the second month, I wasn't going to the hospital. I stopped smoking. I was going to the hospital. So I said, you know what? Maybe I needed to detox for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I just needed to get it out my system. You feel me? So
you make any excuse to get back into it.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna roll me a joint, and I'm gonna smoke half in the morning, and I'll smoke the other half at night, right? So I rolled
very
me a
modern.
joint. Yeah, and I smoked half in the morning, smoked the other half at night. I did that for about a week, and it was cool. It was chilling. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna roll 2 joints. I'm gonna smoke one in the morning, and I'm gonna smoke one at night. I did that.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, maybe I just needed to chill out for a little bit, but I think I'm fine now. I said, okay, now I'm gonna roll 3 joints. One for breakfast, one for lunch, man, I was right back at it again. I was chiefing.
Yeah.
And just like before, I went to the hospital. And
You had an episode.
yeah, I had an episode. I had to go to the hospital. And they're like, man, we told you to stop this and the other. And I saw then that that's what it was. So then I came home that last time and I stopped smoking for like, 6-7 months. And the whole time I didn't go to the hospital. So in December, I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can get back on it. Now I didn't stop for this X amount of time. Maybe I could get back on it. And this is December of 2018.
Okay.
December of 2018. I started smoking again, and I remember this because I got married December of 2018, and I ended up in the hospital like 4 or 5 days before I had to get married. But I got married back home. I got married in Jamaica. So my now wife was cussing my ass out. And of course now saying that, if you didn't want to marry me, you didn't have to get yourself sick to miss it or whatever. I was like, nah, I wasn't like that. I just was trying to see what. So ever since then, smoking is like very, very rare for me now. I hit it every once in a while, but like that shit is
no bueno.
It fucks with me for real.
No, of course.
People think it's bullshit. They think that's it, but it's real. And I grow organically and everything else, so there's nothing that like, it's Nemo. I don't use neem. I don't do none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know that for me, it's the weed. I don't know what other people are going through, but I know I can attest to it that I've developed an allergy over the time.
And it's possible. And I did my research on it, and it's possible. It's super possible, and you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the only one, because there's people that that's the defense that the body makes in order for the
right.
When
it's like anything else. You could grow up eating shrimp your whole life, and one day you close it. You just develop an allergy to it. And it's like anything else.
And that's like you could say overdosing of weed.
I guess.
You could say, that's the most extreme. So there you go. There's sometimes that weed could be dangerous depending how the body, and it shit happens, bro.
Yeah.
But it comes to the point where people say, how you grow? You say you got one of the best weed or whatever, but you don't even grow, bro. You don't even smoke, bro. How the fuck? So how's that process, bro?
I give away a lot of weed. Like you see us all sitting here, and like this is what I'll come here to Casa and I'll sit down with Gabe and a bunch of people whose pallets. I also send weed out. I send weed to I Fair Mids. I send weed to Stoned up in New York. I send weed out to my boys out in Cali. Like I get feedback from
Lot of
people. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't smoke it. You know, like I smoke right now, it's gonna taste like weed. I can't tell you, oh, it's sweet or it's gassy or this thing. Like I've lost that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, and to be honest with you, even back then, I couldn't even because I smoked out a straight grabber. The grabber overpowered
That
weed
too.
back then. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it was like, yeah, I give a lot of shit away. I get a lot of feedback.
What's the method of cultivation? Like, what was the
I'm a
medium that
living soil.
you live in soil, right?
Yeah.
And how long you this from the beginning you started like that?
No, no. Well, okay. So I started outside.
Okay. Okay.
I did a season up in Medford.
Okay.
I started outside, and then I brought it inside. When I came inside, I was doing cocoa. I was doing cocoa with organic inputs. They call it Synganic now, or whatever, whatever they're trying to say now. But yeah, I ran cocoa, and I still do a little. Well, I'll do maybe a lighter two or whatever of cocoa, but that's just so I could. I have people that they don't necessarily want to pay for the soil, so I have a small little setup where I do cocoa where I can offer stuff for a cheaper price to the customers or whatever. It's same strains, but just done in cocoa. Um, but yeah, I've been doing soil now for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years I've been doing the soil now.
And it's helped the brand. I tell you that much. It's helped the brand a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When I when I switched over to soy, because I wanted to be like more regenerative and stuff like that, like I started, really, I started learning more about not just cultivating cannabis, but farming in general, when I really started to get into it. So I wanted to be more regenerative and stuff like that. So yeah, I went with the soil route.
Which is cool because not a lot of people could dial in soil, bro. A lot of people can dial in soil, and that's like the game plan. A lot of people prefer soil because it's much. I feel like it's cleaner in a lot of ways,
Well, I mean, like,
depending on the grower, of course.
we have this whole push against salts and this, that, and the other. I mean, I talk shit about both because I've done both.
Both,
and do
yeah,
both. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like I talk shit about both. At the end of the day, it really all depends on who's growing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But what I will say that I noticed in growing in soil versus growing in cocoa. I've never grown rockwool, so I can't speak on that. But growing in cocoa, and what I've seen from rockwool grows and stuff like that is nuanced terps. So soil, I think, brings upon a different depth of the terp. You might get other flavors in there. You might experience flavors from the grandparents and the strains and stuff that you might not experience in cocoa and rockwool. They're very straightforward terps. You understand what I'm saying? From what I've experienced, and shelf life. You feel me? Like
And yield in
cocoa
certain ones too.
and especially rockwool, they don't have a shelf life. Where if I give you something today, 6 months later, you can pick it up and smoke it, and it might be oxidized, it might be brown a little bit, but it's gonna smoke. Where something, especially rockwool, hell, 3 months from now, it's gonna be, it's gonna be shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on how much value that is to you. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't care because they buy a quarter today, they're going to smoke it all by tomorrow,
By
right?
tomorrow, yeah.
Some people they like to put a nug or two of something to the side that they really like that they can come back and smoke 5 months later. So it really depends on what you place value in. You know.
OGCM, tell me what's one of the biggest obstacles you have faced when it comes to keeping the brand in order and you as cultivating and everything.
Um, Probably, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different things, man. I had, had a family member uh, tried to knock me out the game and destroy my grow in January of last year. Um, that was a big obstacle. But as far as like, if we're talking about outside of that, it would probably be blocking out the noise because it's so easy to look at what's going on in the market and look at where the market is heading or look at what other people are doing, and it's so easy to be like, damn, like, why is this person why is this brand that is able to pump out mids for a year straight and everyone still loves it, and no matter how much they complain about the weed has gone to shit and this, that, other, but me over here, I gotta, I gotta damn near be Jesus Christ to get people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and seeing what's going and doubting yourself, that causes doubt within yourself. You feel what I'm saying? So, from that would probably be the biggest obstacle for me is just putting the blinders on and not focusing on what's going on to the left or to the right of me, and just keeping my head down and looking at what I'm doing. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
It's hard not to feel some kind of way about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know you like you and I'm not saying that because you bust your ass growing, like that's different. You bust your ass in your job or whatever, like people get looked over all the time. You understand what I'm saying? And just because I bust my ass growing don't mean I'm putting out a good product. You understand what I'm saying? But when I bust my ass growing and I know I'm putting out a good product, and it's like I don't get the same kind of like acceptance or whatever as other people do, it's hard to not focus on that and not to be like, damn, so what am I doing wrong? You know. So yeah, that's probably the biggest.
I'm gonna tell you this much, bro. From when I first started smoking your shit, bro, to now, dude. Come on, bro. Bro, Buddy's Bodega has your shit, dude. I've seen other bigger brands have your shit. People talk good about your stuff, bro. And what I like about your stuff is that you incorporated your culture into the thing.
Right.
You know, that's the fire thing. How did that come upon, bro?
Well, I mean, there's different aspects to why I incorporated my culture into it. One, when you look at like a lot of the brands, they put like a lot of the brands put their Mexican. The bigger brands are Mexican, right? And they put their Mexican culture into it. And then people started jocking like the Asian anime stuff and this, that, and the other. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something where it's 100% authentic. And being 100% authentic is my culture, is being a Jamaican and Jamaican culture. And alongside that, the Jamaican culture has done so much for weed. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel that we don't get enough credit. Like all the white boys up in Humboldt and stuff with dreads and playing reggae music and stuff like that, they got that from our culture. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't get enough. There isn't enough spotlight on us for what we have done for the weed culture. You feel me? So I figure me as a Jamaican and as a Jamaican grower, that it's my duty to represent my culture.
Yeah.
It's very few black people that have a platform in cannabis as it is. And cannabis is probably one of the biggest culture vultures as it is, because they've taken everything from the black culture. You understand what I'm saying? So for us to have very, very little bit of representation is one thing, and then for me to be a Jamaican where we damn near have zero representation is a whole other thing. So I felt like it was my duty to represent my culture on a scale in cannabis.
That's a fact. That's definitely that's some deep shit that you said right there, my brother. Because I've seen it myself firsthand. And you know, the only time that they probably put like a Jamaican culture is if they're talking about Bob Marley.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
only time. You know, besides that, you'll see some rappers talking about it in songs. You know, some of the Jamaican artists have always spoken about it.
Yeah.
Like Sizzla, Capleton, they all spoke about it, and then they all got hit hard over there in Jamaica. To this day, they get hit hard because of the weed over there. So putting your culture in it, bro, is one of the things that attracted me more to the brand. You know what I mean? To keep it 100 with you, bro, because it's something unique.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done. You know what I mean? It reminds me when I was copping those CD covers from back in the day that used to have all the Jamaican the you know the house party ones.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
the
what I
Batchman
mean?
mix.
Yeah,
The
you
Batchman
know,
mix.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It reminds me of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then you know the bag juice too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, have you seen it in
Well,
store?
I took that. I did a whole. They were like, I went home.
Yes,
You know,
you did.
the shop that's on the bag juice jar, is a representation of the shop that's my family shop in St. Catherine in Jamaica. You feel what I'm saying? So if you look at the videos, old videos what I did, you'll see I would put the jar in front of the shop, and you will see. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all that, I went home with that. You know, and I said, well, if I'm gonna come out with something,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it right. You know what I'm saying? That was the
Yeah.
first drop that actually went to. I said, you know what? I'm gonna take this back home. That was the first drop that started off with me doing, and everything after that was represented back home.
The what I like also, like, you know, the different flavors that you know, the cultivars that you fuck with. Which are your favorite cultivars that you like to grow?
That I like to grow.
Yeah, that you feel like you know, those are like you.
Well, like to.
Yeah.
So I mean, like a lot of people don't like growing Z because of how finicky it is or whatever, but I do like growing
Yeah.
it. It's a challenge. It took me damn near 2 years to get this batch of Z back from when I almost lost it. When my cousin he did fuck my spot up, and I lost a lot of strains. I lost Ting. I lost a lot of shit. And the Z was so hard for me to mother and clone and get back. I would kept losing clones, and I would lose moms, and it was hard. But you know, finally when I finally got into rhythm and was able to get it back. It's just now that I'm able to have. I had like what, 3 units of it maybe or something like that, and now I'm hoping I'll be able to, you know, scale up and do more. It's only so much I can do, you know, with the amount of lights I have, but I'm hoping that I could, you know, bring more of it out.
How many days that one?
54.
54.
Yeah.
I mean, the smoke overall was fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bro Z, it's real good Florida Z. You know what I'm saying? It's something. It's tasteful. The taste linger, like I said. The effects are there as well. You know, you ain't gonna find too much pressure on Z.
Right.
But you also it's soothing, bro. That's what I like about it. Like when it comes to the smoke experience, and that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? The Z banger I seen also as well.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Shout out to my boy Greasy Couture. That's my brother, man. He gave me that cut, and people have been really fucking with it. So I'm hoping I'm doing it some justice for him.
Yeah.
You know, like that dude right there, man. I don't think he gets his flowers enough as well, because he's really in the background, and he's giving out a lot of genetics for people that are making their names now and stuff like that. And I feel that he doesn't get as much credit as he deserves. But that man right there has a heart of gold, man. Like he really helped me get back on my feet. Gave me a lot of genetics. Nick Exotics 916, he gave me a lot of genetics too. He gave me like three strains I used to get back on my feet, you know. So shouts out to them, man, for looking out for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, when I got fucked up.
So that Z banger, don't get it confused. It's a candy fuse. You know what I'm saying? So it's a Z, it's out to shirt banger. You know, and it's his rendition of it. I'm definitely we're gonna talk about that later on another episode. But yeah, I see what you're trying to do, man. Killing it with that shit, bro. You're killing it the way with the culture, and then putting the producing the great flower for the people, because the people already showing you what it is. And this is a good perfect example of somebody that grows for the love of it, but also doesn't smoke and still could produce great flower.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. You know,
Pure example right here,
Yeah.
OGCM Farms, my brother.
I smoked for years. I'm not like one of them people that has never smoked. And even that, I mean, you know, it's possible then too if you know what you're doing. You know, all that shit about you can't grow if you don't smoke is not. It's not true. I think what people are more leaning towards maybe are people that have never smoked and come into the space to be a grower. And I think people think more of them as like being a culture vulture more than anything else. Just trying to profit off of the culture.
That's
You know,
true.
I think that's what they mean when they're saying that they just don't know how to articulate it. You
That's
feel what I'm
true.
saying?
That's true. What do you think about the Florida market? Like as far as like, the legal market.
The legal?
The legal.
I
What do you
mean,
think about that?
I don't know if I should speak about the legal market. I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't want them coming for me.
Yeah,
But I don't know, man.
No, as far as like as what you seen as how they working, you know what I mean? Like as they see,
I mean, the Florida, man, is like Florida's pay to play. You know, I would love to have a dispute. Somebody got 50 million for me. If they got 50 M's for me, let's run it up. You know, we could build a facility. That could buy us a license. Then we need about another 15 M's to build a facility and keep all the bills going for a year and a half until they finally approve everything. And so, so I need about a good 65 M's. You know, then I could buy my way into the market, but it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like what 12 licenses or something that they've given out over the course of time. They're supposed to give out what they call Pickford licenses. The Pickford Act is back in like the 70s or 80s or something maybe. A bunch of black farmers got together and sued the state because they were overlooking them for farm contracts and stuff like that. So the Pickford Act was enacted, where they had to give a certain amount of business to black farmers. Well, they're supposed to have released, I think it's 10 Pickford licenses. They've issued one so far. And there's a big lawsuit now going on through the state, the Black Coalition of Farmers suing the state now for them to release more of the Pickford licenses. So Florida sucks when it comes to that. You know, when they wrote the law for to make illegal, fully legal, not medical, just recreational, over 21, but they didn't want to put homegrown in there. So it got shot down. No one, people weren't voting for that. You know what I'm saying? Not the real people.
Not the real
what I'm
people,
saying?
yeah,
They weren't voting for
yeah.
that. So yeah, it sucks.
What would be one advice that you could tell an up and coming cultivator on the come, like, try
Latch
perfect-
on to somebody. Be teachable. Latch on to somebody and be teachable. I still ask questions. I still read. I still listen to podcasts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get into it, man. Like, I really nerd out on it. I don't talk about it much, because I talk to Greasy about it, because him and I could
Shout out to
could
Greasy, bro.
go
Shout
back
out to
and forth
Greasy.
about it. But a lot of
Greasy
people, they
Couture,
don't.
by the way.
Yeah, Greasy Couture. Greasy Couture.
Greasy Couture.
The real
bro.
Greasy.
The real Greasy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real Greasy Couture. Shout out to him, bro. Shout out to all the people out there, man. Cali, bro. The real, Mendoza Farms and all of them. You know what I mean?
All them guys holding it down.
Hell yeah. So OGCM, man, it was an honor to have you on the show, my brother. A pleasure and honor, bro. I love what you're doing, my brother, and I hope you keep killing it, man. I remember the first time I met you out there in the Big Bodega Barbecue, man.
That's the homie. Shout out to Bay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it was you know, it's 3 in the making out there, you know what I mean? It's something different, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see you more in New York too, coming soon, hopefully, bro, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to try and make, but it's so hard to get away,
Yo,
man.
for sure,
You know
hell
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
hell yeah. And you got your family, man, so it's
Yeah.
hell yeah, for sure. But you do gotta make it out there, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You gotta make it to one of those shows and shit, and you know what I mean? Something that could be, you know, for you could show the people what it is. Even though you could find his shit and a lot of vendors be having it, you know, not a lot of vendors, but the ones, you know, the chosen few that have
Yeah.
the exclusives, let's just say that.
Yeah,
But you could definitely find it right away on the Buddy's Bodega, you know what I mean? Definitely,
Yeah.
you could find it right away, you know what I mean? OGCM, thank you so much, my brother. Any last words you want to give to the people?
Big up yourself. That's it.
You already know what it is. Just let me see what you're smoking. OGCM Farms in the building. You already know. We out. Peace.